following show has been rated P for Pinball and is not suitable necessarily for young viewers, or any viewers really. Viewer discretion is advised. In fact, it's discouraged.
He's on fire!
How is everybody doing tonight? Happy Sunday. Is it a happy Sunday? I'm not exactly sure. Sunday is Sunday, right? It's all over but the crying. Time to go back to the grind. And, that's just how it goes. I was really hoping to get, into some pinball tonight. I was really hoping to get silver balls deep into Jaws and show you all something really cool. But I rearranged part of my arcade yesterday, and I'm hurt. I'm on the mend. I'm old. It took a toll out of me to do such a thing. And so, what do we have tonight for you lovely people? Well, tonight, we are going to be taking on Quint's challenge, at least the strategies behind Quint's challenge, and what that can mean for you in terms of big points. And I know you all want to hear about that. So, let's get into it. We're going to go over the actual knots that you have to tie for that son of a bitch. And we are going to talk about how doing so can get you ginormous scores once you get into those feeding frenzies, which up until now were just a reward for your lazy brickfests. So let's take a look. They're divided into four categories. And tonight we're only going to be going over the ones on the Pro, because the Pro is what I have. And so you premium owners out there, best of luck. The rest of the stuff is on the internet. You can figure it out. If you're already getting past all these knots and you desire like an extra 1 or 2 knots per level of difficulty, then my hat is off to you. And I guess that's, the premium comes with more knots. It's part of what premium means. So let's take a look at these things, man. We're going to jump right in. On the easy side, typically, so we're looking at something that starts like this, right? It's usually a 1, 2, 3 shot. Most of the time, I would imagine most of you got through one of these knots, right? You start Quint's challenge, you see the flashing lights, and you think to yourself, I better do that. That's great. But the thing about Quint's challenge is you gotta keep going. You gotta rack them up, because not only does Quint's challenge give you an extra 50 mil every time you sell your gear, that is significant. You load up your gear and sell it. I've shown it on the channel. So you can see the light. If you rack up your gear and you go and sell it to Quint and you have an extra 50 million, on a per knot basis, that's some good points. That's a really good value. Especially, considering that the first are easy. Supposedly easy. But this one, left orbit, right orbit, chum bucket. Not so hard. So they say. That left orbit shot, between you and me, it's faster than some of the girls I knew in high school. Oh, but seriously, folks, when you're coming down off the left orbit, hit it right up to the right side and right into the chum bucket. You'll complete the first knot. I would suggest doing that. You're spotted letters when we first start the game, right? So what is it? The first 2 shots or first? I think you're spotted, except for two. You got two left. First 2 shots up the wave ramp are going to qualify Quint's challenge. So you might as well do it, especially because you're going to end up in a feeding frenzy sooner or later when you're collecting those beachgoers, and it adds a percentage bonus to your bonus point, your bonus score at the end of a ball. So again, you rack up these, and then you start a feeding frenzy. If you've got several of them under your belt, or maybe you're a pinball god, maybe you are a pinball wizard. If you got all those under your belt, and then you go to a feeding frenzy, you are going to find yourself with an insane amount of points. But let's go to easy number 2 here. So easy number 2 is center ramp, right orbit, chum bucket. I think of the 2 that you're offered for easy in the beginning, I think I see this one most often, and it is pretty easy to complete. It's also a pretty sweet combo when you're learning the game. The first time you pull it off, you feel really good, and it is satisfying every time you do it. I always I really do think that easy is a bit generous of a word here, because you're always ending up at the chum bucket. So that does make it a cost benefit thing. However, the benefit, benefit, cost, right? Just learn how to hit the chum bucket at least once, or just try and get lucky, because usually you can manage that every now and again. Going on to the medium ones, here's where we start to see things that are a little bit more like, what were you thinking? So we got left orbit, center ramp, and wave ramp. So here's what I recommend to you fine folks for if you're wondering how to figure this out. The left orbit is going to come screaming fast down when you hit it. And in order to hit the center ramp, there's a couple of options. You can ski jump, right? You can hold down your left flipper, and the ball will then jump over to your right flipper, and then you have an option you have a moment there to shoot the center ramp. That's totally good. That's a great way to handle the situation. You can, however, backhand the center ramp, and I find that the faster the ball's going, sometimes that is the easiest way to do it. The ball's just moving so fast that you just give it a little toss, it goes right up and in, and you are good to go. But the problem with the next shot is the ball at that point is going to return to your left flipper. So what do you do then to get it up the wave ramp? Because you cannot backhand that thing up the wave ramp. Ladies and gentlemen, do not try backhanding up the wave ramp, because you will not get there. Surf is not up. You are going to wipe out. You will not hang 10. It is going to come back down at you, and Quint's challenge is probably going to be failed in the amount of time it takes that ball to come all the way back down, because as I'm sure you know, that thing just sits up there and takes its time and eases its way back down to your flipper like an old man into a warm bath. So don't do that. That's the time to ski jump again. It's going to come back pretty darn quick from the center ramp. Bring it down, hold up your left flipper. You got to give it a little nudge sometimes to get it up and over. And then Bob's your uncle. Boom. Wave ramp. That's how you get that one. Looks complicated. Could take a couple of tries to get it right. Also somewhat difficult because, you're not going to see it until you get past the easy ones. But you can practice it without being a Quint's challenge. You don't have to be there. Shots are all open. Game is there. It's always the same. Just hit the shots. Anyways. Think about this. Once you've racked this up, if you get through just 3 of these, it's 150 million on top of your score for selling your gear. Which, if you sell full gear without any buffs, it's 450 million, which means you are already halfway to $1 billion for 3 knots and 6 shots. That's a bumper sticker somewhere. I don't know. But going on to the second medium knot that you must tie for your Overlord Quint. Center ramp, reel, chum bucket. This one's actually not. I haven't found this one to be insanely difficult, because other than the fact that what they're asking you to do is hit the reel shot, which again can be a 5-to-1 and pick them to get either into the drain, somewhere in the playfield you don't want to be, or into the mini flipper lane. Which is, of course, what makes it easy. If you manage to actually nail that shot, just center ramp, comes back down to your left flipper, up to the reel to the mini flipper lane, cradle it for a second on the mini flipper, drop it down to your right flipper, and boom, right up to the chum bucket. It's not so hard. You just got to learn the reel shot. Just hit that thing over and over and over again. To be honest with you, I think that is a great piece of advice for anybody who is playing this game and wants to learn how to be better at it. The reel shot is probably the best shot in the game, and conversely the worst shot in the game. What I mean by that is that when you manage to actually start hitting that thing like you want to, it's probably one of the most satisfying shots in pinball. No joke. It just is. Learning to do that consistently, well, that's a whole, that's a shark of a different color. That's a whole different ball of wax. Going on to the hard ones right here. Again, we start this time with the reel shot. The reel should return to the mini flipper lane if you're, if you're feeling lucky. Again, drop it down to the right flipper, up the center ramp. It's going to come back around, and this is where they want you to, feel like it's tricky. You got to go up the left orbit. Again, the ski jump technique right here is exactly what you're going to do. You're going to hold down the left flipper. Ball's going to come around. You're going to nudge it a little bit. Just give it a little nudge. It's going to jump up. I will say on this one, most of the time, if I ever have to hit the left orbit from the center ramp shot, I can usually just out of the park home run that thing off the tip of the flipper on the right side once the ski jumps over the left, which is, again, another very satisfying shot. Hitting the left orbit from the right flipper is an incredibly satisfying shot. The other thing is you can backhand the shot if you manage to cradle the ball on the left flipper quick enough. One way to do that is to, again, ski jump the ball, give it maybe a little bigger of a nudge, and when it bounces over to the right flipper, it will then bounce back up and head back over to your left flipper. Cradle up, backhand it up the chute, you're good to go. And we're good to go. Let's keep looking at the rest. So this, in my opinion, is where things actually start to get hard. I mean, it's harder. All this stuff is hard. None of this is easy. I mean, there are people out there who will say it's easy, and, God bless them. But for us, for me, it ain't easy. But here we go. So it's a shot 1 up the center ramp. Shot 2 up the right orbit. Shot 3 back up the center ramp. And you finish at the real shot. It's actually just a big combo, a big flowy combo that ends with, again, that difficult, that best, and that worst shot in the game, the real shot. Once you get there, it's great. But, look, we've already talked about, let's see, where are we right now? We are at 6 knots. If you learn to nail these, you are... 6 knots is 300 million. I did have to do the math for a second. 3 knots is 600 million added on to when you cash out on your gear at Quint Shack. You manage to do that, it's like, giving him the big. When you go up there, you're gonna cash out and get some big points. I think that's also great. But again, feeding frenzy. That's where you're really headed. You want to make sure that you're collecting these, because once you end up in a feeding frenzy, you are getting gigantic percentage points, added to your score that you get at the end of the ball, and that's what these are really worth. I think that's actually more valuable than the cash out, although cashing out feels good. Cashing out always feels good. But the points in the feeding frenzy are where you want to be. Now we go to the extra hard ones. The extra hard ones are, extra hard. So they are aptly named. So you go first shot up the wave ramp. That returns to the mini flipper lane. And then, instead of having to hit a lane, you have to hit the life saver, the life preserver post right there, or stand-up target. I think this is a total bitch. Like, to be honest with you, you gotta so on the premium too. We're talking about the pro right now. The premium, if you guys know how to do this, put it in the comments below. Write me an email, midlifearcade@gmail.com. Tell me how the hell you do this. But in the pro, at least you have stand-up targets over there, the fish finder targets. And if you get very, very lucky and very, very lucky and you get it off the top fish finder target, sometimes it will come back down and hit that stand-up target. And sometimes you can completely screw it up. It'll end up in the slings, and then it will hit it. But that's not. We're not trying for accidents here. That's not who we are. We are looking for strategy, and that's what I just gave you. Fish finder targets. Try and hit the top one. Anything other than that, it's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to help you at all. And then the final extra hard. This one is extra hard. Center ramp, return to the left flipper, up to the real shot. You pray to God, you pray to Jaws, you pray to Quint, whoever you pray to, that it actually returns to the mini flipper lane. And then once again, you got to hit that stand-up target. So that's 8 knots. That's 8 knots. That is 400 million that you can stack onto the base of cashing out all of your gear, which is 450 million. That's 850 million points right there, which again, that's a lot of work. You're probably ignoring a whole lot of the rest of the game to get that done. But that's not where the real value is. That's not where it's at. That is not where it's at. The real value is once you get up into these numbers and you get into a feeding frenzy. If you get into a feeding frenzy and get into a multi-ball and you just brick everything you can against those Shark Tower targets, it's ridiculous. This is what I was hoping to show you guys tonight, but I just can't. I just can't tonight. But we will get to it probably Wednesday. And I hope to show you some of the stuff that I've been learning. Most of my strategy before, as I have shown on here, has been about closing beaches. This new strategy is absolutely fantastic. I'm looking for a way. Honestly, I'm looking for a way to work them both in together, because that's what we do in pinball. It's what's fun. Learning how to put everything we know together. Learning how to come together. Hands across America. Hands across the water. Hands across the water. The shark-infested water. Oh, gosh. So anyways, I hope that a whole lot of that has been absolutely helpful for you. If it has, awesome. If it's been entertaining, even better. I hope to see some of you Wednesday as we get into the actual gameplay of all this. Stop by, hang out, and chat. But regardless, this is Lawrence Adams from the Midlife Arcade, saying, may all your scores be high, may all your balls be extra, and we are the Pinball Underground. Have a nice week.